what has been happening in South Africa. So we will be playing the video of the burglary on PhalaPhala farm, which is owned by Cyril Ramaphosa, before we hand over to the President and Commander-in-Chief. So let's have that video played now.
The economic freedom fighters is not shocked by the revelation that there was a burglary and theft at Cyril Ramaphosa PhalaPhala farm and that 60 million was stolen. Cyril Ramaphosa owns game farm parties that are used for illicit financial flows, particularly money laundering. It is not surprising that 60 million in dollar bills were stolen from Cyril Ramaphosa's property and was not reported to the South African Police Services because criminals do not report crimes when their proceeds of crime are stolen. As things stand, the President of South Africa is accused of engaging in terrorist and vigilante method of interrogation and subsequently defeating the ends of justice by bribing those who were victim to his criminal action. No one has a right to abduct, detain, and interrogate those who are alleged to have committed crimes against them. And Ramaphosa did this without the supervision of any competent law enforcement agency, leaving us to believe that these individuals were not only bribed, but they were also tortured. A bribe upon the release of those who were abducted and detained only makes logical sense in the context of brutal torture and inhuman treatment. It is likely that Ramaphosa did not want this to be revealed to the public. Ramaphosa engaged in abduction, kidnapping, and bribery to cover up the fact that he kept large sums of illicit money on his farm and could not turn to law enforcement to assist him when this money was stolen. The media statement released by the presidency and subsequent radio interviews by Cyril Ramaphosa spokesperson to downplay a serious crime must be rejected with the contempt it deserves. We know that Cyril Ramaphosa is at the forefront of corruption, including money laundering, racketeering, and fraud hidden in game farm activities. Ramaphosa and his handlers involved in the game farming industry are illegally transacting in foreign currency and in cash. Moreover, there is no record of these transactions and the laws regarding limits of foreign currency are disregarded. We are even more concerned with the collaboration between Ramaphosa and the president of Namibia, which saw Ramaphosa unleash his personal thugs to track down suspects in Namibia after the robbery on his farm with the aid of the Namibian president.
Of standing rules and orders to the Minister of Home Affairs, Professor Kawana. Honorable Speaker.
Can I get the gist of the question?
Honorable Speaker, there is a very important case in our neighboring republic, South Africa, which we are told our police is involved. The PhalaPhala furniture money. Now listen to the question, Honorable Minister.
No.
Honorable Minister, it's a very important question, Speaker.
No.
And it's very urgent.
No.
Because our police is involved in the case. Therefore, I want to ask the Minister to tell us if. Okay, you know the story, we don't know the story. That's why we should ask the question.
No.
I know you would know the story.
No.
Now, Honorable Minister, I want to know from you. There was no case reported in South Africa. How is it possible that our police force was involved in investigating a case that was not reported in a host country?
No.
That I want to know.
No, Honorable Member, I'm not going to permit that question. I'm not. No, it is not. It is not. We move on. No, not allowed. No. Honestly, no. I'll tell you why. Yeah. I will give you a reason.
Why it is not important to ask such a question where institutions of states are involved?
There is no agency.
Oh, there's no agency.
There's no agency.
Okay, then I'll ask a proper question.
Yeah. There's no agency.
But the speaker should not be dictated by that side.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You are not the speaker.
That's why. Yeah.
The president of Namibia conspired with Ramaphosa to abduct individuals from his country and aided him in concealing his crime of money laundering. This makes Ramaphosa's actions not only of domestic concern, but of international consequences. The EFF does not have confidence that the Financial Intelligence Center, the Directorate of Priority Crime, SARS, and the South African Reserve Bank will investigate the prima facie evidence presented by former head of State Security Agency, Mr. Arthur Fraser. Recent experience has proven that these institutions, including the National Treasury, as well as some quarters of the judiciary, are now deeply embedded in the ANC's toxic factional politics. The EFF has, however, submitted to Parliament questions to Ramaphosa in terms of National Assembly Rule 145 to hold him accountable for the unreported PhalaPhala farm burglary and the stolen 60 million. The EFF submitted the following questions. How much money was stored at the farm and in what currency? What the entire proceeds of the game auction, and or was there additional money that came from elsewhere? Who bought the game, where and when? Did Ramaphosa disclose to Parliament and the executive the amount of money stored at the farm? Did he alert the revenue collector of such an amount of money? Why did he not report a case of theft at the police station and chose to report to a bodyguard who's not permitted to open dockets and conduct investigation? Will he open a case with the police in a police station about the burglary and theft at the farm? Provide proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the money stored at the farm was game proceeds. Did he ever receive a huge amount of money from donors during his tenure as deputy president and president of the country? Does he have other areas other than PhalaPhala farm where he has stored huge amounts of money? If so, what are the details by venue and stored amounts? Did he call the president of Namibia to arrange for illegal extradition of the people who took money from the farm? All these questions must be responded to honestly, and we will do everything in our power to ensure that all questions are responded to truthfully and honestly. Like we are going to do, we also call on all people involved to come to the fore with additional information and evidence that will demonstrate to the people of South Africa, Africa, and the world that South Africa's president is not the person whom he claims to be. His character and way of life is defined by a double agenda and creation of parallel personalities, a fake life, and bribes to silence those who are about to expose him, as well as unquestionable loyalty to his white handlers. We want to warn Ramaphosa to answer the parliamentary questions truthfully and on time, accordingly to the National Assembly Rule 145, subsection 5A. A question for written reply must be replied to within 10 working days. The EFF will not tolerate any attempt by Parliament or anyone to protect Ramaphosa from accountability. Moreover,
10% of the country is dependent on social grants, and 68 people are murdered daily. There is no future when so-called leaders of our country are money launderers, kidnap and torture people, evade paying taxes, violate immigration laws, are unethical leaders who hide millions of US dollars in their mattresses. The only people we know who hold such high volumes of US dollars in cash are CIA agents and spies. The youth has no future when their country is run by CIA agents and spies. Young people can't inherit a country when justice is
Round the
biased,
speaker,
and
please.
people aren't equal before the law. Young people can't inherit a country when those in power suspend those who are investigating them. Only dictators do that. Young people must rise and reclaim our country from descending into dictatorship. Young people must reclaim the country from the wealthy who use their power and status to avoid being held accountable. Parliament must safeguard the future of this country by fulfilling its constitutional mandate. Parliament must safeguard the future of this country by holding the executive accountable, especially for serious transgressions to the law. This Youth Day must not be like other youth days where we say the same things over and over again. Makuyiwe apho kufele khona ithole. Apho kufele khona ithole ke kusekuphathweni ngabaphuli mthetho. Abantu abasebenzisana namanye amazwe ekubulaleni izwe lethu. Young people must reclaim this country from billionaires who have never invented anything. Billionaires who are obsessed about money, not the future generations of this country. Billionaires who take endless loans that sell out the sovereignty of our country, loans that will be paid by future generations who do not even benefit from these loans. Billionaires who treat the running of our country as a side hustle. Billionaires who are greedy and are even willing to kill those who oppose them. Young people, this is our country. Let us reclaim our country from Namasela. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gungola.